of recording space on my card. I forgot to delete the files. So there's a lot to it, and the press does have a certain level of responsibility not to interfere with government operation maliciously, because then it sets off another set of government requirements. See, the government is required to stop the destruction of government. Now, you have free speech, you do have the benefit of the doubt, but there are cases that could be articulated, not to say that anybody or any specific entity is guilty of anything. However, there are cases that could be articulated that could be going on, that could be really bona fide spying to a certain degree. And that's the thing, you can't say that you're going to go after CNN or go after CNN and not go after Fox News unless Fox News isn't doing it and CNN is doing it. You have to go after the cases wherever you find them, and that's why I get into also speaking about the other cases and the other leaks that are going on, even under the guise of law enforcement activity. Because what we're having is criminals in government moving something of a criminal nature against a citizen or a co-worker, and then they get under the color of law to do whatever it is they want to do with it in future leaking, quote unquote. So if I say something about you and I stick to that story and I hold it tight for 6 months or a year, and then I put that information out there again under the color of law, or just making a phone call, because both is being done. It's being done under the color of law and also being done on phone calls as far as being another law enforcement officer. So then again, that is a certain level of color of law, in that the person reporting it is the government person, versus saying on the street that government person says nothing about being a government person and says, hey, I heard this about that person. Now, at that point, it's not the government person engaged in a color of position, which would be a form of color of law conversation. However, based upon that person's position and how they came into the information, that is a agent of the government activity per se. Now, if the government is willing to prosecute the government person, then fine. Then it's no longer an agent of the government. But if the government continually turns the blind eye to what the agent of the government is doing, then that agent of the government is working based upon the government's desire for it to happen, whether it's officially spoken about or not. So there are many crimes that are being committed, many crimes that were committed. A lot of things that were embellished, a lot of things that were taken out of context, a lot of crime that was engaged in knowingly, but yet the Justice Department, the executive branch, doesn't call it crime. So therefore, those people were engaged in activity that is sanctioned and accepted by the government. They are government agents, and I'm owed millions of dollars. Pay up or don't pay up. You either pay here on earth or you pay in hell. That's what religion is. The activity of devils is not covered by any type of repentance until true repentance is rendered. And remember, there's two activities, or there's two audiences in the Bible. If you're on the government platform and superior to another person, even if you're working with them, you are causing a disruption in their life by your wills, but yet you have acted out. And you have acted based upon government knowledge. That's why Comey's there. That's why Mueller's there. That's why the extortion is happening. So again, some of the activity is extortion. We go back to the press. Some of the activity is extortion. These are laws that were created. The RICO laws, the extortion laws, the bribery laws were created for a reason. If you want to be ignorant and not think your way through those processes of what you're all actually doing, then be ignorant. God is not mocked. You will sow, and you will sow because of that ignorance, and you will reap in hell.